Sup? So this is a video request from Adam B from 2 months ago. Yeah, I think I'll do requests now maybe. Okay, Kyle, request. Can you defend or endorse that you are or aren't addicted to Mary Jane? If so, what reasons do you have to be concerned, if any? If not, elaborate on how it enhances your life and how you could quit at any time. Also, include in your discussion how preoccupied you are with ganja in terms of money spent, time spent, and the opportunity cost of not smoking 24/7. Thanks, bro. Keep on smoking in a free world. All right, good request. Good request. So, can I defend or endorse that I am are or aren't addicted to Mary Jane? Okay, so I defend myself to be not addicted to Mary Jane, and I'm really high on Mary Jane right now too. I just smoked. I just got a bunch of shatter. I got 3 grams of some of the most hardcore, steeped for like 1 month or whatever, shatter. And my roommate gave me a bunch of nuggery right there. So I left a bunch of the shatter and I hooked my nuggery. And I'm actually a little bit on the sober side. I should have smoked some more before this video. So maybe we'll we're doing the video about weed, so it's appropriate to smoke weed during the video. So so I give myself defense against not being addicted to weed, or I'll accuse myself of not being addicted to weed, because see, my definition of addiction is something that's bad. Because lots of people are addicted to stuff, like you have people joining the 12-step programs of AA, and they're like, I was addicted and I'm addicted and this, and like the kind of, like, it can make people go bad, like if you look at the before and after pictures of, like, what's that, the thing you smoke, makes you all hyper and then makes people's teeth fall out and stuff, like that's addiction. Like what I'm doing right now is like obsession. I'm on an obsession because I'm an obsessive person, And if you can't see yourself ever becoming a sweet smoker like I am, it's because you're not. It's because you're not obsessive like I am. You're not an obsessive, compulsive, neurotic person like I am. Driven. You're not driven. That's the word. It's always when you're describing somebody or something or a condition, I think it's best to use the most positive language you possibly can, because it helps you to look at the person in the most positive light as you possibly can, which is a good thing, because a lot of the times it is that way. It is the most positive. And if you look at somebody as though it's negative, then they're going to notice that about you, and they're going to think that you're stupid if they're not stupid as you think they are, Like if you're like, "He's stupid stoner," and they're like, "What?" You know what I mean? It's like, for what? Just be positive. And then if they start being a stupid stoner, that's where you call them a stupid stoner. So say, yeah, your obsession, or your with marijuana, or your great strong love, or whatever. But when you start saying addiction, okay, now you're like one of these little stooges for all these people who want to make weed illegal. So it's like, why do you want to make it illegal? So yeah, the addiction. So well, what's the difference between addiction and obsession? Well, I'm obsessed, and weed helps me become obsessed. It puts me in the zone, which is a place of joy for me. That's where I live. I guess a lot of people aren't like that, and so maybe it's hard to empathize or to understand people who are like that. Like people who are just constant comfort seekers, kind of run of the mill. People who aren't striving to get to the next level. I guess part of it with me is I'm a big ego. I want to accomplish. And so if you have an intense personality, and you smoke something that intensifies your focus, then you're gonna get really hardcore into some things. Or, I guess people can be obsessed with video games, and those people aren't, but those people would get smoke weed, would be obsessed with the video games without the weed, with or without the weed. In fact, those people probably aren't as hardcore stoners as I am. They probably have to sober up once in a while. So the difference, obsession is good. It's a good thing. Addiction is a bad thing. Addiction is, I wish I couldn't do this, but I have to. Now, I would consider myself to have been addicted to weed before it was legalized, because I would have that craving, and then I would go out of my way and to great lengths and stuff to get weed, and even things that were bad for my health, like scraping wooden pipes and smoking that, and metal shaving pipes and smoking that. Gives you really bad asthma. I did a lot of that. Maybe that's why I had bad asthma, because I didn't have asthma until I was 23. So anyway, but when it's legal, I can smoke it all the time, so there's none of that period of time where I'm sober and I'm like, I wish I could get high. It's so awesome when it's legal, because you can just stay high all the time. So if I wanted, but I use the weed to help me with my website. Now, I think, one difference between addiction and obsession is, with obsession you can become unaddicted. Is that the question you asked? So what reasons do you have to be concerned, if any? Oh, if I am addicted? Well, if I was addicted to marijuana, the concerns when it was legal would be the health concerns, scraping pipes and stuff, really bad. But I don't have those anymore because it's legal. Now, do I have any health concerns about smoking too much weed? No, I don't, actually. I don't think it's bad for my lungs at all. If not, elaborate on how it enhances your life and how you could quit at any time. Okay, it enhances my life by making it possible for me to work on my website. I couldn't work on my website if I wasn't high. I could, but it would be a struggle, and I would have to ride on my rollers while I do it. But it wouldn't be as fun, man. Yeah, it wouldn't be as fun. And in fact, I don't know if it would be possible, because the tediousness, tediousness is hard, and you get better as you get older, but it's just too tedious. It's too much work. So that's how marijuana makes my life enjoyable to work on my website, because when I get really high, I get all these, I guess, supercharges your brain. So I get all of these new ideas. I start looking at the things differently in ways I've never seen before. All the ideas about my website, I'm high all the time, so obviously all the ideas about my website I got when I was high, but I don't think I would have gotten those ideas if I was sober. If I was working on my website sober the whole time, I probably wouldn't come up with the ideas. It's kind of like, I think I heard people talk about, Terrence McKenna and Graham Hancock talk about how they have a theory, and I actually believe it, that human beings were around as cavemen for a long time, and then all of a sudden we have these evolutionary leaps. We have the missing link from, 200,000 years ago. Homo erectus suddenly was living at the same time as Neanderthal, just came out of nowhere. Same thing with when Neanderthals were alive, and then Homo sapiens came around. It's just these leaps, and it could have been, and I think one of these leaps of actually a new species that even looks different and acts different that we could trace back, it happened because of the sudden use of psychedelic drugs like magic mushrooms and smoking of marijuana. Herodotus refers to marijuana in 2 times in his histories. One time, the Phrygians, who were people in eastern Turkey, kind of modern, Amazonia, the Amazons. They would smoke weed, and they would throw their buds on top of the fire inside of a tent closed up. They'd hotbox it, and then howl like wolves. And then the other ones, what else did they do? I can't remember what he said about the other one, but for the longest time, people were just cavemen doing nothing, and then you kind of, I think you reincarnate doing the same thing, and then you get bored of it after 200,000 years doing the same thing, and you want to do something else and have new ideas, but you need a catalyst. We all know, chemists know that about the catalyst, and I think the catalysts are the drugs. Somebody, and probably somebody would do the drugs before and nothing would happen, but then people become more and more intelligent just from the culture, and of evolution, but mainly through their soul's evolution of reincarnating over and over again. And so they need to kind of break free and have another way of life, graduate from hunter-gatherer to farming. And so all the other times they ate the mushrooms, they didn't get the idea. But then, one time they ate the mushrooms, and one of the guys goes, "Oh my God, why don't we sow a bunch of seeds here, and put a cart behind an ox and farm and stuff." And then they all eat the mushrooms and go, "Yeah, and then we can do this and they can do that." And then they do it. And the mushrooms aid them, and the marijuana aids them and evolving into a new level of species. And so that's kind of how I feel with marijuana now. That if I was sober, I wouldn't be thinking of this stuff, but I'm high, and so I am, because it makes me think of so many different ways. I like to get high, and then I look at Google Earth, and I am so, what it does is it kind of blocks out the rest of the world. Like, the rest of the world doesn't exist at all. It helps you focus. Marijuana, it's like, ADHD kids, they give them the Dexedrine, and because I guess people get addicted to the Dexedrine because it helps them focus. Well, I'm addicted to marijuana for the same reason, because it helps me focus. When if I'm sober and I get really high and I'm looking at my Google Earth, I'm kind of not focused. I'm looking, if you could make the analogy of like a camera lens, my camera lens sees everything the same. And I look at my Google Earth and I'm like, okay, well, that's that town and that's that hill and that's that, and so whatever. But if I get high, I can't pay attention to anything. All I'm looking at is Google Earth. And all I'm looking at is that world. I'm like inside the world. Like, and every once in a while you have those cartoons, and then like somebody falls in, like, remember that movie from the '84, The Twilight Zone, and one of the episodes, the little kid, he has the superpowers, and he made his little sister, his big sister, and go into the cartoon, and she got like eaten by the monster. Like, you fall into the TV, there's sometimes you have movies where they fall into the TV. Well, that's kind of what it is. I like fall into the, actually my brother and his friend were tripping on like acid once, and my friend tried to like run into a big like poster of a mountain village stream, because he thought he was in the mountain stream, and he ran into the fucking poster and like smacked his head against the wall. And I did the same thing once. I was on Salvia Divinorum, and I was like, didn't know where I was, and then I could see the real world, like between these like bars that were coming down really fast, and I tried to jump out of the real world, so my hands were flailing, and I was trying, because I didn't know. And so that's kind of like what weed is like. I try to, all of a sudden, you go from, okay, that's just Google Earth and here I am or whatever, and then into all of a sudden somebody falling into the fucking cartoon, and you're inside the cartoon. Like, all of a sudden the only thing that exists in the whole world is Google Earth in this area that you're in, and you're in the world, and like, not only you're in the world now, but you're in the world 1,000 years ago, 500,000 years ago. You're in the world in the future. That's the world, and that you're the world. And then you get all these ideas, and you're like, okay. And then you make, that's when they made Fantasy World, Fantasylandia, and Sanctimonium, right there on Haystack Mountain. And so, that focuses you. You're focused. And so when I get really high, I get really focused on my work. I go, ooh, my work again. And I go, and it keeps me locked in. It gives me strength. Focus and strength is the same thing. It gives me, I can sit down there and I can just do this. You know, like getting really smoking all day long, staying high all the time, and working on my website and sitting on my ass, not getting any exercise, and getting really out of shape, like the worst out of shape that I possibly could have imagined I would ever get out of shape. Like if I try to tie my shoes, I'll pull my muscles for like 3 days out, type of out of shape. But it's actually really good preparation for becoming a really good endurance athlete, because it's a mental preparation. Because it's the same thing, you know. You want to sit there and just pedal forever, but I mean, and then you feel physical pain here, but the physical pain there is the same. It's like it's not any worse on a bike than here, because you're healthy over there, and it's actually you're getting high off of it. So, so that's why it's a focuser. It focuses you because it motivates you, or me, because it doesn't have the same effect on people who are not naturally driven. It could dissipate them, and it could make them. They will do things that they always do, which is just sit there. But now they're not gaining from the reward of their accomplishment, their daily accomplishment, and seeing where their daily progress and making trajectories of where they're going to be, and then seeing where they're going to be and making plans and keeping themselves occupied that way and happy. Somebody who gets high and just doesn't have any goals and sits on a couch, they're not reaping any of those rewards, so they're only going to be reaping the negative side effects of marijuana, which to somebody who's very driven like me, the side effects aren't that bad. The side effects would be dwelling, right? Because it makes you focus on things. You could maybe dwell on negative things, like negative things that happened in the past, and make you angry at somebody or angry with yourself. Or it could make you dwell on whatever. That could, or it could make you lose your train of thought, make you not know what you're going to do, like what you're going to do next or what you were doing. Or it could make you kind of so separated from the real world for so long that you feel alone, and then that could make you depressed. So somebody who's not reaping from all of the rewards from being a driven person and using the weed to help propel them forward is only going to could only feel the negative effects of it, and then that depression could seep in. They could kind of be sitting there like, where am I? Why am I? And then that could be bad. But to somebody like me, see, if I wanted to quit, where's the next part? Have you been concerned, if any, if not, elaborate enhance on how your life quitting time? Okay, how I could quit at any time. Yeah. As long as I could quit marijuana at any time, but my marijuana is dependent on the web design. See, so if you're going to say that I'm addicted to something, it's not marijuana that I'm addicted to. It's the working on my website that I'm addicted to. The marijuana makes it so I can be addicted to the marijuana, to the website, which is what I want to be addicted to because I want to finish it. So if I wanted to quit marijuana, I would have to quit my website. As long as I'm working on my website, I can't quit marijuana because I need the marijuana to work on my website. So smoking marijuana would not go very well. If I was to do my daily bike rides and then come home and do the video, the marijuana would not work well with that because I wouldn't concentrate on the book as well, and my lungs would not work well enough on the writing, and I would also not have as much energy, and it was the two are not compatible for me. In the past, they could have been when I was, more, when I like weed more, I guess, and when I needed weed more. But now I need to, it's good to go sober for that. So if I wanted to quit weed, I would just change my lifestyle. And then I would quit weed because they're not compatible. Okay. Also include in your discussion how preoccupied you are with ganja in terms of money. Time spent and the opportunity cost of not smoking 24/7. Okay. How preoccupied am I with ganja in terms of money spent? I don't spend money on anything. I only spend money on like canned vegetables and rice, and every once in a while I'll buy a pizza, and it's the money I spend on food is really small, and my expenses aren't very big. So the only thing I spend money on is weed, and I can get away with smoking as much money as weed. I have the attitude I have with weed right now is like a price no cost no object thing. It's like if I can afford it, then I'll buy it. And so I'm happy that I can afford it, and so that's all. I'm happy, and so it's got all that plenty of benefit. Time spent. Well, I sit around on my computer all the time anyway. So it's good to have something to have a break with doing, and so a little smoke break is fine. And apart from that, it doesn't take any time to smoke weed, and it doesn't take time to buy it because you only get it like once every week or two. I don't know exactly how many days usually goes by. I get a half ounce, and I go in and get a half ounce. Oh, this time last time I got a quarter, and then it went away, and I'm like 3 days, dude. I'm not going back to that dispensary. And then I'm gonna go to. Then I got some of the shatter, so we'll see how long that lasts. But God, I forget what I'm talking about. I'm about to pass out. Time spent, yeah. So time spent negligible, and the opportunity cost of not smoking 24/7. Okay, the opportunity cost of not smoking. Okay, so I think you mean like what opportunities am I missing? Well, I mean, it's kind of like there's two. With me, there's two modes. There's sit at my house all day long smoking weed and working on my website mode. And then there's be sober and riding out there, my bike out there on a mountain bike, and then coming back and doing the book review mode. Those are two separate lifestyles, two separate me's. So, opportunity cost. So, there's no opportunity coming to me if I'm in my house all the time smoking weed. But I don't want any opportunity because I need the opportunity to do exactly what I'm doing now, which is to work on the website. What opportunities would I have if I was riding outside? I don't know. I guess I could meet people. Opportunities come from meeting people. So that's about that. But yeah, thanks, bro. Keep on smoking a real world. Yeah, so the weed makes it possible for me. The weed makes it possible for me to work on the website because I can listen to music. Check out the new Ina video. God, this bitch. Fucking fine. Oh, wait, I can't play it because then they'll fucking copyright me, motherfuckers. Ina, what's it called? Ina Caliente. Holy shit, that bitch. Okay, yeah, but so you can get really high and you're like, ooh, and you listen to this song over and over again while you're working. And then, but getting really high and listening to a really good audiobook is good too. Getting really high and listening to an audiobook is kind of like, has the same effect as getting really high does. Getting really high does kind of softens the edge, like you can feel like, oh my God, I'm tedious, I want to go home. What do we do? With weed, you're like, I don't give a fuck how long it takes. This is my work, this is my life, I'll just smoke weed and sit here all the time. Audiobook is kind of the same thing. When you're an audiobook working on my website, it's kind of like you don't have to be high because you can be like, I can be here all day because listen to the audiobook, working on a website, like working on a website, tedious, working on a website and listen to the audiobook, you're like, me listening to an audiobook, just that, I feel like I'm wasting time because I'm not getting anything done, so they go so well together. Same thing, audiobook mixed with exercise, goes well together. So, okay, I think I've done enough speakers, okay.